Well, I mean, those are the kind of split seconds you got to be aware of. Actually, we showed it also the players that they're very good in crossing balls in, and they're very determined to go into those crosses. That's how they scored their goals also against Venezuela and in games that we showed the team. But you know, you got to live through that moment, and it's different. So that's a learning moment for Tim Ream, that he has to be in front of the guy, that he has to kind of unbalance him. If he doesn't get the ball, then you got to make sure that he's not getting the ball either. But it's good, you know. So Tim needs these moments. He needs these minutes on that level in order to learn. There's nothing bad about it, you know. It's just disappointing that, you know, we on the other hand, we didn't score until that point, and it takes your basically all the work that you put in for 8-9 days, it takes it a bit away.
Frank.
Coach, Ream has had a very difficult year in MLS this year. Did you say anything after the game? And did you see a difference in his play this year as opposed to last year?
Well, I didn't see him so often last year. I think he's one of the very promising center backs in this country, and that's why he's in this squad. He deserves to be in this squad. And he's extremely willing to learn. He's a constant asker. He wants to know, you know, how do I get to the next level? What do I have to do? I think he learns a tremendous amount from Carlos Bocanegra, from Gucci, these guys, and we throw him in now in a moment like that because he needs to smell that level. He needs to get a taste of it, and he needs to make minutes and minutes in order to learn, and in order to learn how to anticipate and how to get in front of your striker, to read the space and all that. I think even after that goal happened, then, you know, he stayed focused, you know, he shook it off, which we always ask the players, you know, forget about the mistakes, you can't change them anymore, you know, go forward, you know, and he did that, and he had then a solid last 15 minutes then, and those are the experiences he needs, and I think he's definitely on a very good path.
Just before we continue, I know there's a couple German-speaking reporters here tonight. If you wouldn't mind waiting to ask your questions at the end, we'll take them in German once we finish with the English. Thanks. Christian.
I just wanted to ask you, Coach, given your comments yesterday about needing to extend the season, is Brek Shea one of those players that would benefit from that, and what are your thoughts on his fitness tonight?
Well, I mean, his fitness level is good. You know, I mean, we train really high intensity here the whole 8-9 days in camp, and he comes and says, well, you know, the more I train, the fitter I feel. So he can take that. Obviously, he's young, and he's full of energy and full of enthusiasm. And our job now going forward is, you know, to take the player's schedule and look at every individual schedule in order to bridge the gap towards the next season. You know, players like him or Juan Agudelo or Tim Ream or, you know, all the guys that now go towards the end of their season, they can't stop. You know, they got to go. Because on that level, like we experienced today with an Ecuadorian team, they play 11 and a half months a year. So we have to make sure that Brek stays fit, stays in a rhythm, and all the other guys as well that are going towards the end of their season.
Ron.
Jurgen, with what you're trying to do, how different do you think the team will look when you have Dempsey and Donovan on the field together and eventually home?
Well, I think definitely, I mean, if you have Landon and here, if you have Jose Torres here, if you have Fabian Johnson that you haven't seen yet in a real game, which is a similar player to Danny Williams, you bring quality. You really bring quality into that side, and that's something we will benefit from. And it's a growing process we're going through that will take time, and obviously also a couple of knocks that you have to accept, and you get them on that path. And but I think if you look at the overall roster, we have there really a good team together that is highly competitive then going into World Cup qualifiers. So looking forward to have Landon back, have Jose back, and Fabian Johnson and others. Yeah.
Brian.